שיש בה 50,000 הרוגים בעזה היא הכרחית ונדרשת לדורות הבאים. אוקיי, מה זה של המלחמה? על כל מה שקרה בשבוע, כל אחד בשבוע, באוקטובר התחיל למות 50 פלסטינים. זה לא משנה עכשיו ילדים.
What's going on, you guys? We have Mehdi Hasan sticking up for the victims of this ethnic cleansing. Mehdi Hasan is going after an ex-Israeli ambassador. Let's watch.
For the deaths of so many thousands of people, women, children, the elderly.
Well, Mehdi, first of all, shalom to you, salam, peace to you and to all the viewers. Inshallah, I hope we will get it there soon. As to your question, I'll tell you. When we see all these horrible, and there's no other way to describe it, horrible pictures in Gaza, I can tell you that Israelis think of one thing, and this is October 7th. October 7th was probably the hardest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Just think about that. And does it justify all the death? No. But is it explaining why Israel has to do what it has to do? Yes, it's a matter of self-defense. We do not like to have people who are not involved, but this is the scourge of war. And here I can tell you that, and again, I don't want to go to the numbers. We have an issue with the numbers because mostly it is based on Hamas numbers and it's manipulative. But I can tell you that wars, you look at if just we think of recent wars, whether it was in Fallujah or in Mosul, the ratio was 10-1 between terrorists that were killed and uninvolved. I hope and I believe that this is not the same ratio in Gaza, although again, it's not a solace to anyone. But
so I'll come back to the ratio in a moment. I'm glad you raised the ratio. But you just mentioned something else. You said October the 7th is what explains it for Israelis. And over 1,000 people were killed on October 7th, horrifically. You also mentioned that the numbers from the Hamas ministry are manipulated. They can't be trusted. And yet Israel's own generals, Danny, in private, we now know they take those numbers at face value. I want you to have a listen to this recording of General Aharon Halevi, who was Israel's military intelligence chief on October the 7th. Liking this video? Listen to what he was caught saying on tape in private.
And before the Israeli ambassador tries to worm his way out of it, that recording is, you guys aren't wrong, that is a general saying that 50 Palestinians have to, get taken away from this earth for each Israeli, for each one Israeli that had passed away during October 7th. 50 Palestinians need to no longer be here. And then he even went on to say, even children. Disgusting.
Danny, not only is that Israeli general openly endorsing the killing of Palestinian children and saying that October 7th justifies you guys killing 50 Palestinians for every Israeli, outrageously, but he also cites the Gaza Health Ministry's death toll at that time. He says 50,000 dead. General Halevi doesn't question it, so why are you?
Okay, so I have twofold answers. First of all, General Halevi misspoke. Secondly, he is not in uniforms anymore. He's retired. And thirdly, if you listen to him, what he says is what should be in his mind. He didn't say that, he said this is what should be the result. This is not
that's not true, Danny. He said there are already 50,000 dead in Gaza. He was acknowledging the death toll that you won't acknowledge.
Well, maybe, I don't know why he said it. Again, I think...
Because it's the truth, Daddy. Because it's the truth in private. In private, Israelis admit to the truth. That's why he said it, surely.
No. I think what he said it in order to kind of make himself less vulnerable because he is the one accused for not having the intelligence. He was the chief intelligence officer. But I'll tell you, Mehdi, there is one easy way to stop everything. Hamas leaving Gaza, not controlling Gaza, stop the terror and disarming, giving the Palestinians back their own government. You know, the
Well,
Hamas.
hold on, Danny. They've agreed to step down from government, as Gershon Baskin and others have pointed out. But just sticking with this topic, do you believe, as Aharon Haliva does, that October 7th justifies killing 50 Palestinians for every Israeli killed on October the 7th?
I think it's not a matter of numbers.
But that's what he said.
I don't think it's a matter
I'm
of
asking,
numbers.
do you agree that it's justified? He says for everything that happened October 7th, 50 Palestinians must die for every Israeli. Do you agree with that?
I will answer you very, very.
You can't say no, Danny. You can't say no.
What I want to say, what I want to say is that Israel does not act out of revenge, but out of self-defense, and this is what I believe in. This is what most Israelis believe in, and the culprit, you know, it could be even more casualties on all sides. But what is the root cause? The root cause is Hamas. If we do not understand that,
of course,
if this is not a departure point.
The rest of the world is saying the root cause is the occupation. But I do need to stick with this topic because it's very important. You mentioned ratios, right? You said Hamas is the root problem. You're fighting Hamas. How many Hamas fighters have been killed in your view? What is the ratio between civilians and fighters in your opinion?
Well, as much as I can tell, and I'm not in the, I'm not in Gaza these days. I'm not in the government these days.
Right, he's not in there much days, but he can definitely tell you that General Halevi was lying through his teeth, that he misspoke, that that's not the way that things go, that, that he knows so much that the facts are that General Halevi is saying is wrong. Oh, but, whenever I don't know what's going on with this ratio as far as what's going down. I don't know that it's 80% of the civilians are getting, it's cold-blooded out here in Israel at this current moment. He can't say that. He can't even admit that. Look, it's just so freaking stupid.
Talking as just regular Israelis who is exposed to the news, who knows some people. I believe that, again, the ratio would be maybe 3 to 1, 3 uninvolved, not more than that. And it's not that I justify, but it's just to explain.
Okay.
And this
you must have
issue that Israel has.
You said you were exposed. You said you're exposed to the news, Danny. You must have seen the news from Plus 972 magazine in Israel and the Guardian newspaper in the UK that obtained from a classified Israeli military intelligence database Israel's own numbers showing that it's killed just under 9,000 Hamas fighters, maybe as low as 7,300 Hamas fighters, which means that per Israel's own internal calculations, 83% of the people killed in Gaza have been civilians. That's one of the highest civilian death rates in modern warfare, Danny. You have to go back to the Rwanda genocide in the mid-1990s to find a single conflict with a higher civilian death rate. That's one of the reasons why people say Gaza is a genocide. 5 out of every 6 Palestinians killed by Israel have been civilians, and that's according to Israel's own military intelligence.
So here, Mehdi, I beg to differ. My numbers show that at least 20,000 Hamas terrorists.
Where do you get
killed.
your numbers from? Because according to 972, there is no other place to check other than this database, which says a max of 8,900, maybe as low as 7,300 fighters. That's it. That's what you've killed.
There we have it, you guys. It's always word of mouth. It's always, oh no, I am the one who is the expert on this matter whenever you're talking to these different Israeli ambassadors, these IDF soldiers that are no longer with the IDF. It's always, oh, my numbers say something different. My information says something different. I have this insider knowledge that is just so much more powerful, that is all-knowing. And, we can't believe what's going on in this war, and the truth is that it's all Hamas's fault, and they're just going to continue to say the same rhetoric over and over. It's whatever they are literally paid to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.